On the 2nd of April, US President Donald Trump announced the imposition of reciprocal tariffs ranging from 20% to 60% on 60 countries. This move aims to minimize the advantages other countries gain from trade imbalances, with Sri Lanka facing a 44% tariff. However, President Trump later declared a 90-day grace period for these tariffs, excluding China. This period is intended to allow affected countries to negotiate and potentially reach agreements.
What steps did Sri Lanka take?
In response, a delegation from Sri Lanka met with Ambassador Jamieson Greer at the United States Trade Representative Office. According to a statement released by the President's Office on the 25th of April, the discussions aimed at advancing towards a bilateral trade agreement. The USTR operates under the Executive Office of the President of the United States and is responsible for developing, coordinating and overseeing international trade, commodity and direct investment policy. Ambassador Jamieson Greer, U.S. Trade Representative, serves as the President's principal trade advisor, negotiator and spokesperson on trade issues.
What was discussed with the United States Trade Representative?
We understand there are two fronts in the US tariff discussions. One is bringing down the trade deficit that US is recording as of now compared to the surplus that Sri Lanka is recording. Second aspect is addressing matters relating to the tariff side of it, how to improve it further. We are going through an ambitious revenue consolidation program, so therefore there are certain challenges that we may have which other countries are not subjected at the moment. Our position is to continuously maintain that Sri Lanka's ability, as I mentioned, for industries on their competitive advantage to integrate with the global supply chain, and energy sector was identified a key area during these discussions. I'm sure we all agree Sri Lanka is a net importer of some of the oil-related product, energy-related product to Sri Lanka. So there is a vast opportunity for somebody who is competitive enough to provide with the best pricing to engage with Sri Lanka, either in the gas segments or in the oil segment or in the crude, refined fuel segment or crude oil supply segment. So there are various opportunities on those areas. We presented those opportunities to the authorities over there to engage their suppliers, vendors, counterparts to engage in the discussions to review the possibility and explore the opportunity to supply those items to Sri Lanka. So one quick win for the parties is if we can get some of these bulk supplies which is relating to the energy sector, if there is an opportunity, if there is a possibility to assist and facilitate on those areas, which will create a win-win situation for both parties. So we had several discussions relating to those areas.
Will a bilateral agreement be signed?
clarifications
We expect to receive any clarification from the US within the next 2 weeks. Following that, we have a 90-day period to conclude these discussions. We are hopeful that we can reach a satisfactory agreement before the end of this period. Their expectations was that if there was any discriminatory tariffs imposed by the US on imports entering the country, those would be addressed. We discussed these issues not just in the context of specific goods imported to Sri Lanka, but in a broader sense of affecting all countries.
නැතුව සියලුම රටවල් වලට බලපානවා නම් යම්කිසි භාණ්ඩයක් ලංකාවට ආනයනය කරනකොට ඒවා පිළිබඳව නෙමෙයි විශේෂයෙන්ම සාකච්ඡා කරුණේ.
Did Sri Lanka engage with appropriate institutions and individuals?
Former President Ranil Wickremesinghe stated yesterday that there was an opportunity to discuss these issues during the visit of US Vice President J.D. Vance to India. Deputy Minister of Finance Dr. Anil Jayantha responded to Wickremesinghe's comments.
STR ඒ කියන්නේ යා තමයි තැපැල් පෙට්ටිය.
STR is essentially the mailbox. He went and talked, then submitted the proposal to the mailbox. What we should have done was to send the Prime Minister to talk to him. Modi had said he would help Sri Lanka with this issue. So, we should have asked him to give us an hour to discuss it. We should have sent Prime Minister Harini to meet him and agree on some relief. Why didn't we send her? Now, we are just looking at the mailbox.
දැන් ඉතින් තැපැල් පෙට්ටියට දාලා බලාගෙන ඉන්නේ.
එතුමා කියන විදිහට අපි සාකච්ඡා කළ යුතු වන්නේ එතුමා කියන එක්කෙනත් එක්කමද?
Should we engage in talks with those he recommends? We should discuss this with the person involved diplomatically, whether it was the Prime Minister of India or someone else. We don't know if they discussed trade or their geopolitical interests. I don't know if Ranil Wickremesinghe was clearly informed by the Indians. The direct decision on trade matters is made by the United States Trade Representative's office. I don't know if it was the US Vice President or President involved. That's why we had a face-to-face discussion with Mr. Greer. We emphasized that we will make the most accurate decision diplomatically based on the mandate given to us. We informed not only Ranil Wickremesinghe but also other groups about how the country is governed today and what is being done. You should question the validity and credibility of these claims yourself.
ඒක ඔබම ප්‍රශ්න කරලා බලන්න.
What is the position of the International Monetary Fund?
Now, on the issue of U.S. tariffs and how does it affect the country, obviously, as I mentioned, trade policy uncertainty is one of the issues that we have discussed quite extensively with the authorities on what could that mean for Sri Lanka's economy and economic performance. We know that obviously the authorities are committed to achieving program objectives and to see how are the targets being met. They have also committed to addressing any sort of underperformance or deviation from program targets with remedial measures. So we think that we take this commitment very seriously, and we note their strong impetus for delivering on those. Obviously, the global trade policy uncertainties, as I mentioned, is a significant risk. All I can say at this point is that if these risks materialize, we will work with the authorities to assess the impact of those shocks, and we will support the country in formulating specific policy responses within the contours of the existing IMF program. Now, within, obviously, in general, as I mentioned, the global trade policy uncertainty for any small open economy and definitely for Sri Lanka poses significant downside risks. For these discussions, we understand that obviously the issues that arise and how they should be baked into the program. If there is any substantial risk that may pan out either on the back of tariffs or some other disruption, we will work with the authorities to incorporate them, to assess their impact and put them into policy responses.